further, man, so what I was saying was, I guess our team likes parties and building a vision together because I love seeing all of your faces. Apparently, we need to do this more. So we're putting that on the board. Absolutely love it. Thank you guys so much for carving time out of your lives to be here, because I know how crazy life can be, and I really value your time. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna start. Well, that necklace just broke off. I'm gonna start our call by saying a word of prayer really quick and giving us all a chance to just, if you haven't done this yet, which I haven't, breathe and release the stress of the day, and so that we can be present in this next hour. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this time together. I thank you for each and every incredible woman who has taken time out of her day to be a part of the team, and just to learn how we can best focus on the gifts that you've given us, the opportunity that we have, and how we can serve others to the best of our ability. We love you. We give you this time. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. Who else has had a little bit of a crazy day? Anyone? I feel like it's getting really annoying that I say that every single day. People are like, enough already. But that's how I was feeling. And then I channeled my inner Brooke, and I went and I did Let's Get Up outside. And Sarah Stoy texted me, and she was like, that's what I did this morning too, because life has just been so crazy. So a reminder, in your business, self-care, like doing the things that we preach, is the most important part, especially when it's hard, because it's easy to do when life is easy and slow and not complicated. But if we can really learn how to share through the hard, the busy, the stress, and what, as a coach, what is our response to that, and how is that different than the average person? It really does make you stand out, and it makes people realize, like, oh, there is a different way to respond to being exhausted and stressed out than drinking a Red Bull every morning and a bottle of wine every night. Like, maybe that's not the best for me, right? And if we can start influencing people that way and just showing them a different way, and that we have some positive tools to help support them, it's really awesome. So, man, I just love seeing all of your faces. This is so exciting. Okay, so tonight we are talking about team vision. I told you in my live video today that I had a secret I was going to share with you, and I'm breaking all of the rules doing this. For those of you who've been around for a few months, our team got invited into the Success Club Secret Society. So when you hit Success Club, you get invited to a special event the next month. And the first time was a private cooking class with Autumn Calabrese and her brother Bobby. And Brooke and Amy both qualified for this month's, which is tomorrow. And it is a fun cocktail hour and Q&A with Joel, which is very fun. I know. Everyone's always so excited to see Joel. I know. It's just it's a true thing. So next month, so usually you don't know what the next month is. You get surprised after you qualify, but I'm just going to tell you guys. Next month is going to be a special training call with Moira Kusaba, who is, if you don't know her, she is one of the top coaches in our company, and she also has a side business. She has a planner that she created called the Rise Up Planner that you can find on Amazon. That's really amazing. That's to help you organize your life and map out your vision. There it is. Sarah has it. I have it, unfortunately, at the bottom of a bookshelf, so it's not really helping me right now. But I haven't done it yet. But it's so powerful. She has such a powerful gift in helping people craft their vision. So for those of you who lock in Success Club this month in July, you will be invited to a vision board party with Moira, where she's going to walk us through her strategies and skill set of how we can clearly craft our vision for our future. Because how many of you, when you think about, like, what do I really want? What do I put on a vision board? That sounds silly. Like, how many of you struggle with knowing even what's possible or what to put on there? Do any of you struggle with that? Like, what do I actually want? And then you think of, well, I'd love a lake house, but then instantly your self-doubt goes, that's ridiculous. And then you're like, yeah, you're right. That's ridiculous. What am I thinking? Okay. Well, she is just honestly the best at walking you through that, which is why today I thought it was really important and powerful for us all to figure out what we want for our team. What do we want to build? What do we want to invite to? Like, what I want to know what you guys want. And then next month we will get an opportunity to do some more personal ones. Sound good? Okay. So if you guys can, I would love it if you could get out just a blank white piece of paper for yourself to write some things down. But I was trying to decide the best way to do this. And so I opened in Canva. They have vision board templates. And as you guys are talking, I'm going to kind of make where did my open tab go? I'm going to make a little vision board on Canva so that I can share it with you guys as you're talking. So here is the question that I would like you guys to answer for me, and just go for it. Unmute yourself. Don't be shy. What kind of team or community do you want to be a part of? Dream as big as you want. Here are some sub notes to this, some ideas. Do you want to have quarterly events where we all get together? Are you motivated by retreats that you could be a part of for earning certain leadership things? Do you want to have weekly or monthly fun? Like we did masks and mimosas one time every Monday. Is that something that would be motivating to you? Like that would make you feel like proud to invite people to the community that you're a part of because they get so much positive value. Does that make sense? So that is it. Now it's your turn. I'm going to be over here. Do you guys want me to share my screen while I'm making this, or do you want me to send it to you at the end? Share my screen? Okay. I'll do that. I just have a template, so we're going to have to rearrange some things. But okay. Okay. I'm going to call y'all out. I just turned text in.
I can start so you don't have to call me out.
Yeah.
So for myself, after attending Summit in St. Louis, I realized that like human connection is huge for me, and seeing our team, which was small presence at St. Louis comparatively to a lot of the teams, I realized that like that human connection that we all experienced together at Summit changed some things and shifted how we interact.
Mm-hmm.
And that is big for me. So I think those team events like the super weekends are going to be huge for us as a whole.
I love it. Consistent human connection. And I agree with you totally, Jamie. For any of you who know who Diesel Nation is, they're a massive Florida team. A bunch full of Latinas, like they know how to party. But it's so fun. Like, and Christina Delgado is a coach that's ahead of that. And whenever I've been on a training with her, she's always said that it was so important for her and her sister that when people join that they feel like family. And so they mapped out for them, what does it mean to be family? What are their core values? And so as you guys are thinking about this, if you have something that's like a core value that you want our team to represent too, I would love it if you shared that.
I feel like I could touch just a little bit more on human connection. Just, I don't mean Summit, like it didn't change like how I feel about and love all of you, but I will use Krista as my example. I had not met Krista in person. I had met Felisa and Joni and Sarah, and something shifted when Krista and I were able to actually like embrace each other. And so I would encourage every single person on this team, if there's somebody that you've made a connection with on this team in the virtual world, you should strive to earn enough money to get you on that, Success Club trip, earn enough money to get to Summit next year, invite that person to meet you there, or these super weekends. I feel like something shifts when you're actually able to like embrace that person in person.
100% agree. I'm also, just so you guys know, I'm going to be like chicken scratching this and then we'll make it pretty after. Don't judge me. I will also add on to this, Jamie, a goal that could be real for some of you, probably all of you, are our Success Club trips. They've been canceled the last few years, but Sarah Holland and I have both been, and they also are game changers, especially if you could bring your spouse. It really helps open their eyes to the potential and the reason behind why you're maybe on your phone or you're working for this silly Beachbody thing. And then you get to take them to Mexico or on a cruise and they're like, okay, I could be a Beachbody husband. Like, okay, I could maybe get behind this a little bit more. And those are really not, when you get serious about building business, they're not hard to qualify for. They're not hard to earn, to pay for. It's just hitting Success Club gets you Success Club dollars. So, and you can read the FAQs about that, but I would put that on your list.
As far as connecting more, I think having a map where we all are would be pretty awesome. Like, I was totally blown away and blessed yesterday by Krista. She posted it. I said, where are you at? That looks like the highway where I live. And sure enough, she has a cabin where I live. And her and her husband got to drive to my house and I got to hug her and embrace her in person. And that was so exciting. And to really learn that she's not that far away from me, maybe like an hour at the most, and to have like a cool little map. And that way, like Brooke, who, made a trip down here, she could see who's down here. And if there's time and wiggle room to connect, then I think that would be really awesome as well.
I love that idea.
That's a great idea. I got to hug you yesterday. That's so funny.
That is so crazy. When Krista sent me that picture, I'm like, what in the world? And Erica, that's happened with so many people, like with Deanna, when she was down. Yeah. And you went and I will never forget. She called me. She goes, guess who I'm going to have coffee with? And then she called me after and said how much of a blessing it was to just spend time with you. And so I agree. I think that'd be amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I'm like, for me personally, I think I felt super intimidated to get connected because I felt like everyone was up north and I'm like, when am I ever going to see these awesome girls? And just, wow, I got to meet someone that I connected through Facebook and the Beachbody app. Like, that's awesome to me.
I love that.
And can I escape my cabin when it's full and come to your house and hang out?
Anytime. We can have a mountain retreat here.
Come to a super weekend. We're going to talk you into it.
I love it.
Sorry, my Zoom's acting weird, so bear with me.
Oh, you're all good.
There we go. Keep talking. Don't mind me just touching my screen.
Oh, you're fine. I have a question for you guys as you're thinking about this. Next year, so for those of you who didn't go to Summit is our like Beachbody New Year. It's where you celebrate your team's accomplishments. There's a bunch of Beachbody parties that are really fun to be part of and the live workouts. And so we as a team will get recognized for how our growth basically in 2022. In 2023 at Summit in San Antonio, let's make some goals for where we want to be as a team. Maybe that is like, how many people do we want to be able to bring with us? Or how many coaches get to walk across the stage as a Star Diamond? Do we want to be a 2023 elite team? These are things that while I can have dreams and aspirations, it doesn't mean anything if our team doesn't necessarily align with it, because we have to do it together. Just like a baseball team wanting to win the World Series, it has to be a team goal. So and we're all kind of motivated, I would imagine, a little bit different, but is that something that does motivate you guys? Like the thought of being able to walk across the stage or be able to say you're a part of an elite team, things like that. Bueller.
I like that idea.
Thank you, Joni.
And I'll just go ahead and talk since
Perfect.
I'm already talking. So I kind of agree on the same page as Jamie with the connection. That was big for me. And I was telling the girls at Summit that when I saw a photo of all of you, I'm not sure what it was. Jamie, you said it was a leadership event or something. I'm like, I looked at that photo and I'm like, I was in a horrible place in my life. And I said, you know, I want to be part of something like that. I want friends. And that was part of my reason too for joining Beachbody, is to be part of a community and to have people to connect with. And meeting these girls, I had met Sarah, so I guess Krista was the only one that I hadn't met, but it was so amazing. And I'd love to meet more of you. And I would like it if we had the more events throughout the year with all of us. I know it's probably hard for some, but
That's okay. Yeah,
connection is like real big to me.
I love that. What do you guys think about, because what you mentioned, Joni, was something that surprisingly was attracted me as well, of seeing teams together in the beginning and wanting to be a part of that, of like a group of women who are encouraging each other and growing and being successful together. How do you guys feel about having, like, maybe if we did quarterly events, doing like a quarterly photo shoot, like whenever we do a gathering, being able to have some photo shoot, like a photo shoot for our marketing, team marketing, because exactly how many of you are attracted to that? Like if you see a picture of our team and you're like, oh man, I want to be part, I would love to be a part of that picture or a part of that group. I would love for my face to be in there. Is that motivating to you guys? Okay. Okay, because it definitely is to me. And so that could be something that we orchestrate, and we all, when we have leadership events like our diamond retreats, I cover that. I pay for a photographer, but even at Super Weekend, when we're all going to Sacramento, you better believe we're going to get some pictures. I can see what I can do to get like an actual photographer if we have time for that, but then we'll have like a catalog of regular photography that we can use for marketing in our business, because what we want to do is attract more people that want to be a part of this. And there's really no better way to do that than showing our consistently growing team because of what we're building, the community that we're building. So I'm just going to throw that on here.
I think that's really big, because when you see, all the different teams, like after Summit or some other groups going into it or out of it, I don't know, it just gives you a different picture or thought of like, they're really growing, they're really supporting each other. I will be a total voice of reason. Even every 6 months is probably plenty.
Yeah, no,
I'm just thinking of like my crazy life. I'm like, wow, every 3 months I can't even hardly get our own family pictures, but I think definitely at any events that we have, being really intentional to get a few, and then, professional ones are awesome in between when we can. So very cool.
Absolutely. And even when we're in a group, like even if a photographer is $200 or $250 and there's 10 of us and we all chip in, then financially it's not a burden on anybody. And then we can get some really awesome pictures. I know I'll say in my own business, that's been super helpful, even if we didn't have a professional one, but getting pictures, I think could be awesome to help capture that. So I love it.
I'm just going to throw out there, because I'm like looking at all your faces of like who I still need to meet. But from like what Jamie said and Joni said too, and don't be afraid to fly across the states and show up in an airport where your friends are going to find you and surprise you with big hugs, even though you've never met. So I was sort of a mess for a multitude of reasons going into that week, and won't go there, but it was so different coming out of the week, right? Like you just look back and think, why was that so hard? Like these are beautiful, amazing friends. So don't be afraid to like do something crazy like that.
I love it.
So funny story, but Krista flew in a little bit after us. And so we had coordinated and I was texting her, like, we're sitting at our carousel trying to get our luggage. And then I'm like, there's Krista. Like, Krista. And she's like, Jamie. Like, it was just this, like, I just found you in a big ass airport. It was pretty cool.
I love that. That's so cool. I'm going to ask you guys to switch gears with me, well, a little bit. So obviously we definitely want to have more regular in-person events as much as we can. But what about in between those? Is there any ideas that you guys have that would be fun or motivating, as far as what can we do through Zoom or online or different contests or challenges that are in alignment with motivating people to do the habits to really cultivate a transformation? Does that make sense? Like, can you guys think of any ideas of, is there any other group that you're a part of in your life, or you think, hey, it'd be so fun to have, as silly as it may sound, like a virtual movie night or cooking classes, like a once a month, we do a live cooking class and we just invite all of our customers, even people who aren't our customers, and we make a fixate recipe. And would that be fun? Or in everyone's life, does that sound like another thing?
I was actually going to suggest that because I've been thinking about doing that with like within my own team, like a cooking night, or even just like, I know as a teacher, like we try, like my team, my third grade team tries at least once a month to go to happy hour, you know, and even though I don't drink, I'm like, I still go just for the connection and the friendship, you know? So I think even if we did like a virtual happy hour once a month, you know, for anybody that can come, like that's really fun too. I think the cooking classes would be fun.
A virtual happy
I love
hour. People get up
Yeah, I
early.
really like that idea. And I actually wanted to like, and I talked to Jamie about it, to team up and invite people over to check out like our home gyms and and show people in person more about what we do, because I think it's kind of hard to really see what we do just by watching our Facebook and our videos. I mean, you get an idea, but if somebody could like touch the bike, get on it, touch the screen, have fun, have dinner, hang out, you know, that type of thing. A lot of other companies have parties all the time, you know, and that's what I think that's something we could focus on, is having little parties, even just to show our friends, whether they're interested or not. It's good to reach out and have people over, and, you know, all good for mental health, you know. So.
I'm so happy that you mentioned that. And I will tell you, 2 years ago, I can't remember when, I actually brought that idea to Beachbody, that how many other companies do home parties, or their setup, their compensation plan set up a little bit different, but, and we are like a mix of a service and products. However, like how many people have Pampered Chef virtual parties or Pampered Chef home parties, and they get to try things, or, you know, with nails, or with, you know, there's so many other companies that do that, or with jewelry, and they sell it like right there. So if that is something that you guys, honestly, if we did this as a team, we would be completely set apart, because as far as I know, there's no other team who's figured out how to do it. And I don't think it'd be hard. And I know that Liz used to do shake and share events where she would make Shakeology for everyone and invite them over and then tell them what it was about, and then tell them about coaching and stuff too. But I think if we did, I don't know, there's so many thoughts. Like you could do an energized shot and work out with Sean T, and then make shakes for everybody. And then, like you said, Jennifer, they can see if you have a bike, they can check out the bike and just cultivate that local community where you guys are at, and tell them, you know, this is just a fun girlfriend's night. There's also, you could get creative if you're a wine drinker and do like weights and wine, or it's like goat yoga. Like we're going to do a workout with wine bottles. And I have done that before.
That's a good idea. I wanted to use my Remax office because it's so big. And I
Yeah.
thought, well, that's a really great double doing, like bringing people to my Remax office, which obviously you understand, Jess. And you know, showing in Beachbody and get my bike over there. And that's kind of my idea. I would love to have a bunch of people in my house, but that's when my stress level goes to 5,000.
Yeah, I get
So
it.
I was like, where can we do this? Oh, I can do it in the office, you know?
Absolutely. Are you at the one downtown? Okay. So I hosted a super weekend there. We put a projector up on the inside, which you could, I haven't been there in so long. You could probably do in the parking lot in the back as well. And we did, I think Sarah was there. We did a workout, I think it was quarter force at the time, trying to remember. And we wore these shirts, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it was so fun. And I brought in a blender and I made Shakeology. I think that day we had a freak snowstorm. And so I didn't, like, not many people came, but that's a great idea. That's an amazing idea. I think you should go for it.
Okay, so that's super cool that I'm not crazy because I just invited my local friends to Thursdays this month. So the first one was just to walk, kind of reconnect. But the second one, I said like a workout and a shake treat that I'll make because, well, Joni, if you saw her picture, we got these Shakeology fun treat books at Summit. So I thought it, you know, it could be a shake, but it could just be like a pre-done treat. Like you saw it in like, what is it, Fire and Flow, where they would always have like the treats afterwards that he would make. So I thought that would be really cool. Like we could just do like a low impact, either a walk or one of our workouts, and then have that pre-done. So I don't have to be like making it at the same time. So that should just come up for that. But I think Sarah Holland, I was going to ask you, we touched on something really cool. Yeah, creating local community. Yes, totally agreeing with that. But we talked about something that, and I still have it on my board, and I'd love for us to like think about it. Not necessarily, it won't be resolved tonight, but the idea that sometimes the things go so fast that it's hard for us to, we can sign up coaches, but everybody gets that overwhelm. And so I have like, I've been writing down like little things on my whiteboard here behind me, but Sarah and I were talking about what if we could even take the steps and slow them down a little bit so we could get like mastery and sort of, sorry, my homeschool brain's going to kick in of like the building blocks.
Never apologize for that.
I'm like, you don't teach your kids multiplication necessarily before they know like the numbers and addition and all the things. So what is that and how does that equate in our business? Like even on my list here, you know, it could be even things like social media related, say for a month of like working through, maybe it's on a separate than team call. Maybe there's like kind of back to that like one-on-one new coach mentorship, but like all of us. So instead of just like you're one person you invited, maybe there's like 3 or 4, whatever coaches we've invited or have joined that month, but slowing the steps down even in the vitals. So I asked Sarah to jump in here. We had talked about it. We were like, oh, like instead of just like invite or connect, invite, follow up, maybe we like break that down and we work on one of those for longer till we feel really good about what that part is before we take on the next. And it came in with his whole like tree growing slower is more strong. So then you're maybe spending a couple months building stronger into those new people. But if we just keep signing them up, even though we have Coach University, but maybe that's a step down the road to take them through once a quarter. I thought of that too. Like maybe once a quarter we do a group through, but in between we have some slower steps. So Sarah, I'm gonna stop talking, hop in because we talked about this and we were like all excited.
Yeah, I think you covered it pretty well. Kind of the way that I was thinking of it was like more like a deeper skills development. Like I don't know if you've ever done a power hour, and first of all, everybody does all the different steps a little bit differently, but then it's like, okay, here's how we're going to connect. Okay, do it for like 5 minutes and then move on to the next thing. And I think sometimes when people are just getting started, it's a lot to do all of that and like figure it out all at once. And they can do it as if someone's leading them through it. But then when you sit down by yourself the next day and you're like, okay, let me do the things, and you're like, wait, now what am I doing this right? You know, and just slowing it down and just a little bit even, and building a little bit more confidence in their competency in each skill area. And yeah, that comes by doing, but taking a little bit more time to practice those and refine them, I think could help a lot, especially when it comes to like inviting and conversations, you know? And I haven't really thought through the best way to do that, but maybe it would be like a monthly skills class or something like that, where it's just on one small task or area and really refining that, mastering that, like Krista said.
Yeah.
I was going to add too, kind of jumping back to the creating connection as a team. One of the things that I've been thinking about coming back from Summit was how I can create kind of my own community here locally. So like, yes, I love having the community with our larger team and everything, and that's so awesome. But I'm also thinking, how can I create more of that for my customers and clients and like, you know, my people here. And so I was thinking a lot of the same things, like a weekly walking group or something bi-weekly. I have done in-home things before, and invited friends over to come work out, to try Shakeology, like done that. Space is definitely the biggest constraint there, especially when you're all trying to work out and see the screen at the same time. If you don't have like a large room or a large screen that you can set up outside, space is a constraint. But I've also seen teams do the workout in a park. I don't know how they like stream the workout, or if they're not streaming a workout, maybe someone's actually physically leading the workout. So I don't know if you've ever seen anybody do that, Jessica, or heard how they do it. But those are some things that I've been thinking about too.
Yeah, I love that idea. And it's something that everyone can do and duplicate. I put up here to create a template for home parties, which is very generic and I just can't think of the words right now. But I think it would be really awesome if we as a team, like a few of us, got together and a home party committee. And then we created just a PDF, like a simple outline for anyone. If they want to do an in-person event, here are the steps to plan it. Like, here are the steps to think through. Get a space. It could be outdoors at a park. Here are some things to think about. Or it could be, you could rent a hotel, like conference room. There's in Sonora, we use the firehouse off of not Standard Road. What's it off of? You know what I'm talking about? Right past Standard Park, going towards the junction. What?
It's the ambulance place. I don't know what it's called.
You turn out of
Tuolumne Road.
It's Striker
Striker
Court.
Yeah.
Is what you're talking about?
Yeah, Striker Court. So we had a few super weekends there because it's like $25, and they have a huge projector screen, and it's everything that you can need. You just move the tables and chairs out of the way. I was gonna actually, when I lived there, run a business workshop in person in 4 hours, teach people how to set up their Beachbody business. That didn't work out, but having a template where people could do this and get creative, I agree, I think would be great. And this all, remember, is going to come back to, what do we want to establish and set up? What goals do we want to have? And what systems do we want to have in place, so that when we invite people to become a coach with our community, that we are so confident that they're going to get such amazing value in the relationships that they're going to form, and the people that we have, and the events that we have, and the connections they're going to form, and in the systems we have in place, that no longer will your own doubts and insecurities overcrowd the excitement that you have, if that makes sense. Just like if you were to get an incredible job somewhere with all the benefits you could ever want, and they were hiring, who would you go to that was qualified and tell them, like, oh my gosh, this place is hiring. You would be such a good fit. Look at all these opportunities that this job would give you. I really want us to have that in our team. And I know we can create it. It's going to require us thinking outside the box a little bit and getting excited and really casting the vision of what. So let me ask you, with these so going back a little bit to the new coach calls, it's actually something that I have on my list too, of doing regular team coach webinars again to learn about coaching, and then having maybe bi-weekly or once a month a new coach happy hour of all new coaches in the last month. Call in, you can get to know each other. Here's the basic steps. I love what you guys are saying, and I do totally agree with you. What's going to motivate you, and what's going to motivate them to want to grow their business? Is it going to be a diamond retreat where we all fly to Florida? Is it going to be when we become, like, do we want to shoot to become the best of the best? Like, do we want to shoot to become a 15-star diamond team? Is that something that would, if you're new, you probably have no idea what that means. That's the top rank a team can achieve in Beachbody. Do we want to do that and earn that bonus collectively and then go to Hawaii together? That's something we've talked about in the past. Is that something that motivates you guys, or not so much? Hawaii's crazy.
Okay, I'm gonna like bring this party next level, because I think on a vision board, from what I learned at Summit, we need to be a top 10 team.
Whoa!
There's not a time frame on that. Your vision board doesn't have to have an exact time frame, but you have to set a big goal.
So that is what Jamie is saying. There's different rankings in our business, how Beachbody works. Being one of the top 1 through 10 teams out of 400,000 will require us to lean into this together, and for everyone else to also want to level up your own business, for you to want to be a 5-star diamond, 10-star diamond. And that is for the right people. And I know that they're out there, and I know that it's in pretty much every person I see on this screen. And sometimes that is going to, sorry, this freaked out on me. Sometimes people need, like, well, what does that mean? Like, for my personal life. So if you were to be, does anyone else feel that way? Like, well, if I were to want to be a 5-star diamond coach or a 10-star diamond coach, what does that mean for me personally? How does that even affect me? Does anyone have that question? Or not really? I just want to make sure. Sorry, I wanted to am I frozen? My computer is being weird. Okay.
No, you're fine.
It sounds like someone that would be quite busy.
That, I'm so glad you said that, because it's not necessarily true. The way that our business model is set up is for, in the long run, when you build it right, for you to work less and make more. These past 2.5 years for me, most of you know this, I have worked way less than I ever have. And my income has not changed at all. Especially since I started real estate and haven't had any help with the kids. My capacity to pour into business is so minimal. I maybe, it changes and I don't time myself. I maybe work 10 hours a week with Beachbody, maybe like 5 to 10 hours a week. And that's not where I want to be, but that's where my capacity is right now. And my paychecks are still between $4,500 and $6,500 a month. So, and I'm only sharing that so you guys can see like what is possible. What do you want? Usually for most people, freedom and finances are going to change your family, your life, right? That's what most people are looking for, is how can I live the life that I want? How can I live wherever I want? How can I financially pay off all my debt and do it in a way that really matters, that is going to make a positive impact? And this is that. So you're in the right place if that's something that motivates you. But I just wanted to touch on that really quick. Being a top 10 team would be reflective of all of you being extremely successful in your business and making a really amazing impact. So let me ask you this really quick. I want to know what motivates you guys. Why are you here?
I can start.
Yeah.
I'm here because honestly, I think about my future grandkids all the time when I'm working out. And which is kind of funny. My kids are like 14 and 9. But my mom's a grandma and my aunt's a grandma, and they can hardly do anything with their grandkids. And I'm like, that is not going to be me. I am going to be able to be present, be there, go for walks, and really be a part of their lives and my kids' lives now. But obviously, you know, if I would have continued down the path where I was, I definitely would be you know, not in the healthiest when I'm in my 60s, which is kind of my goal, is to be healthy. And like Dana's mom, she's 72, and she kicked butt in this like weight class that we did at Sonora Fitness. And I was so embarrassed. I was like, this chick, I was like 37, and I was like, this is so bad. And she's just like planking like a warrior. And I was like, this is bad. But she's done that for years, and she works out and she took care of herself, you know. That's one of my biggest goals and why I do this. And the other is because I want to feel good. It's really helped me mentally and emotionally, because I'm just a very fragile person when it comes to my emotions and how to cope with things. And working out, changing my nutrition, and doing meditations with Beachbody, it's literally changed everything. I just feel so good every day. And not to say I don't have my bad moments, because I do, like everybody else, but they're way less. And I can handle and cope with everyday stresses so much better. And so, you know, just survive, just being confident and powerful every day with my intentions and how I'm feeling. And I'm just going to keep going, because how could this be wrong? This couldn't be wrong, because I feel fantastic. So I want other people to realize that, you know, you could reach out to drugs and alcohol and food, but there's something else out there that'll make you feel better, and it's way better. You know, it doesn't ruin families, it brings people together. So that's mine.
That's what that was. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jamie.
I can say the exact same thing. I could say the exact same thing, because I would, my number one goal is just to maybe get 5 people on my team and just show them what a difference this has made. I don't care if they even help me get to Success Club points every month. Maybe they're not going to be subscribers every month. I just would love to maybe change 5 people's life the way that Beachbody and all of you guys in the group have changed me. So that's kind of like one of my, I made a vision like list, and that was like number 1. I just want to help other maybe moms or just people also struggling, because just like she was talking about how she wants to be a great grandma, I was that way just with my kids. Like having a hard time just playing on the ground with my daughter was like difficult, and I would struggle just wanting to give it up or be motivated to play with her. And I've been so changed just in that. So that's kind of also going with it. And then of course, financial freedom is always a great dream too.
Right.
Go
ahead, James.
I was just going to say, everything that you guys are talking about is exactly where I was when I started in this business. So when we're talking like business vision, it does start out with changing your own life. But when you start sharing that, you realize there are so many broken people. There are so many people suffering just like we are suffering. And we have the solution. And in the midst of chaos and seasons in our life that absolutely sucked, right? We were able to pull through with these tools and the ability to share it. So I just text Joni this. I don't know if this is today, Joni, or yesterday. My days are kind of blurry because I have a lot going on right now. But if Beachbody was to just close, like be done, the business just shut down, I would be 100% at peace in my soul, because I helped Joni. I helped her through a time in her life that was really difficult. And I didn't even know it. Like she shared it with us in Summit a little bit more in detail. And like, I was able to help her because I helped myself. Jessica helped me. So I think that as you develop and you grow in your confidence of your own transformation and you just get confident in sharing it, you're going to see that the business, the idea of top 10 is a little less scary. It's a little less intimidating. It's not something that is as scary. I know that when I said that, it scared a lot of people because it's a lot. I mean, I don't plan to be a speaker on the stage, right? On the big stage, but just sharing what you guys are doing and everything you just said is exactly where I was a year and a half ago, even before St. Louis. So 2 weeks ago.
And Jamie will probably be the first to tell you that I was so nervous she was going to quit after she had a vision call with me and Liz because she had said a lot of the things that you guys had said, which are all amazing things, right? Why are you doing this? I want to help people. I want to live my best life. And Liz really pushed back. She's got a lot of Italian in her and really pushed back and said, okay, but why? That doesn't, it has to be bigger than that. It has to be more than that. And for all of us, I was the same way. Jamie's right. It starts with that and that's okay. But you're going to start to see how big, like how massive, you guys, people are out there ready to take their life right now. And you messaging them, you learning how to create a silly reel, you learning how so nervous, but reaching out and connecting with them or inviting them to be a part of what you're doing, you inviting them to coaching, even when you're so insecure about it, could save their life. And I know that because it's happened so many times from people that I know that are coaches in Beachbody have said, oh my gosh, this person just told me, when I reached out to them 3 months ago, they had a gun on the bed and they were ready to end it because they had no one. But they didn't because I reached out to them. That is the opportunity that we have to really change and save people's lives and then take them out of the bondage that so many people are choosing to live in because of lifestyle disease. And then let's talk about the stress of work and how the unsatisfaction rate of people's jobs right now are like 85%. Most people want to quit their jobs. And they're not happy. What is that affecting? Them being a parent and how they're raising their kids and their marriage. What if we could help ease that a little bit and teach them a different way? I was Googling work from home RN jobs before I found this. It's just, I had no idea that it existed. I had no idea it was even possible and what it meant. I had a different stigma in my head because of what other people had said. So I want to be the team that changes the stigma of Beachbody. They don't do us any favors by the name, I know, but it's changed all of our lives. That's why we're here at 7 o'clock. Some of you 10 o'clock on the East Coast. That's why we're here. It's changed our lives. So who are we to get in the way of helping other people because we are insecure about what people are going to think of us because it's not about us. So I want to be the team that learns how to conquer our fears, that learns how to not put our own stuff in the way of other people's lives being saved. And I want to be known for that team. And that team is a top 10 team because our impact is a domino effect. It's a ripple effect that is way beyond me. It's even way beyond you. It's the people that you're teaching how to catch this same fire and to recognize that we have so many tools at our fingertips. I've tried doing this on my own without this company. I've tried being a health coach and teaching workshops, and I did it in Sonora. I did it in Spain. I did it, and it's really hard. It's really hard. This is a team task. And so maybe I liked in the chat, one of you wrote, Sarah wrote home party team task force. I love that name. Like, let's have mini task forces on helping new coaches get started right, helping them get to Emerald, helping them get to Diamond, and what that actually means. Because it's more than just the silly rank names. It's so much more. Top 10 would be representative of us impacting hundreds of thousands of families. And so what I need to know from you guys is, do you want to be on a team that does that? And if you do, then it's time to get to work. And that's the point of this call, is what sets your soul on fire and gets you so excited that all the other stuff doesn't matter. And success is not linear. And you are going to struggle just like I do a lot. And I fall on my face. And we have to have a vision that as a team that's so powerful that it doesn't matter that it's hard for a day or a week, or it doesn't matter how many unfollows we get on Instagram, or how many people message us on YouTube and say that you're dumb or you're just part of an MLM scheme, because we know the truth. And that is why you're here. And that is what I want us all to remind ourselves of, because it takes a team. When I'm feeling low, it's helpful for me to have Jamie lift me up, or Sarah, to have some of you reach out and lift me up and encourage me when I'm struggling, when I'm feeling low. And that's the beauty of having a team who's united in the vision of where we're going and what we're doing. So that was my TED Talk.
It was great. I love the idea though of having a task force, because I know, like, when I talk to you, Jessica, it's always like, find something that you can teach. We learn by teaching and mastering that teaching. But like me as a newbie, I did the 2 classes yesterday, and I'm like, I was up past midnight trying to nail a 3-minute video, and my eyes got redder. The bags got like lower and lower. I'm like, okay, I have to try this again tomorrow. But like, to have a mini task force to, like, in that beginning, in that excitement stage, and then to be able to be kicked off to someone, maybe I want to go to Emerald, and then maybe I want to grow, but to have those mini task force, like, as almost like a step, like a tier system, I think awesome. Like that gets me excited, because it seems more attainable. So I like to say I'd like to lose this much, but I'm gonna go for 5. I like the mini goals because they're so much more easier to grab.
I love it.
I 100% agree. I was there with Jamie, so I can see what that would mean. It doesn't seem like scary. And yet I'm totally in that, like, what lights my soul on fire would be able to be helping even my couple people that have said yes, but then I don't feel like I know how to help them best, or how to overcome, like Erica said, mini goals. Like, okay, if you want to get to Emerald, I didn't even know what it meant to get to Diamond until I was here and I saw Jessica's page in the Facebook. I'm like, oh, that's what it means. And I was like floating around for a year before. So I think there's a lot of things for me, I have on my board, clarifying what those steps are. Like the class we were in, where they had kind of like the first 10 days, what they do for their challengers in the first 10 days, because it's so crucial. I thought that was really smart. I mean, it takes us being on it, but it really connects them faster. But for me, I love the mini goal ideas on the way to, with the big goal out there. But how do we master those mini goals? What are those most important steps to help someone? Like, I pulled my own expense report for the first time after Summit. I was like, oh, I can do that. Well, you know, it's a lot more fun to look at the first 4 months of the year than the last couple months of the year. So how do we get that momentum of mini goals for our new coach that signs up when you're new? When, like, I love what Sarah said, like, you want to help 5 people. And so that goal, I think I can't always translate, you know, this arbitrary earn this amount of money. Okay, if we help 5 and we get them started well, and we're really sharing our story, like all those beginning steps, but the tiers would be really helpful. Like, how do we do that next thing? And what are those? Like, what are those? I think defining those for our team, because each team we heard was a little different. What are they for our team? I know one culture I would love to create in my own team and ours, if we're into it, is, I think I mentioned it earlier to you, Jess, of, you know, really kind of thinking of it as a 5-day-a-week business, but really having a full day off, like a full day, creating that culture, surrendering that to the Lord. But I know that we all kind of sort of may be guilty of not doing that, you know. And I've seen teams who literally they're off from Christmas for 2 weeks till New Year's. Is our business really going to die in the 2 weeks that we spend So some of those like underlying currents too, I think is super unique to our team besides just the tasks. And so, yeah, clarifying.
I love it.
Can I
And
say
then-
something?
Yes, please.
So after today's call and last night's call, or last night and this morning's call, and when I got home from Summit, I'm like, okay, I need to get to work. And I need to, like I said before, I have probably way more time than any of you because I don't have kids at home. I'm per diem at work. So last night really helped with the slides that you were saying, Jessica, what she was talking about. So I mapped out everything. So today I got up, I did my prayer time. What did I have down here? I was going to do a workout, but I'm starting my week on Tuesdays since I started Lift More last Tuesday. So I'm just going to start tomorrow. Anyway, so I had it all mapped out for each day. And then I said,
I was just asking, are you talking about the brain dump?
yes,
Okay,
it was so good.
it was.
So I said, okay, I'm going to work 1 to 2 hours on my Beachbody business today. I'm going to do a post. I'm going to do a live, which I did. I got everything done that I said I was going to do today. And, but then I'm thinking, okay, what do I do the rest of the day? Should I just incorporate things throughout the day? Should I be working more hours per day? So that kind of is confusing to me. And then I'm thinking the same thing when you were saying take 1 day off or 2 days off on the weekend or something from your business. Should I be posting every day? How many times a day should I be posting or doing lives? I don't want to like bombard people.
I think if I was to touch on that, Joni, if we're talking business, so I know that I kind of threw out like big business with the top 10 team, and I think I scared a lot of you. But if we're talking business growth, all of those things are great, but we have to get back to what are the income producing activities as well. So if we are doing all of the Instagram growth, that's marketing, that's building your community to reach out to. And then you have to follow those up with follow-up, right? So that's great. The problem with, and I will tell you, the problem with this business is that Joni and I work in healthcare. We are used to, this is your job. This is when you do it. You clock in, you clock out. You have this patient load, you take care of them. This is what you do. You sign off on your meds, all the things. We're so structured in our 8 to 5 that then we come to this business and we're like, what do I do? I need somebody to map this out for me. I need somebody to answer this question for me. And Joni, your favorite person, Danielle Natoni, basically said, as a leader, when one of her coaches below her come to her and say, what do I do? How much time do I spend on this? Should I throw this idea out there? Should I try this? She says, try it. And I actually got a text from Jess today. Same thing. Try it and see how it goes. It is so hard. And I am with you in this because I don't have a time frame. I don't know exactly what has worked. I don't know how much time I'm supposed to give. I think you have to try it, which is day 1 today for you of actually mapping that out. Try it. If it's 2 hours today and it moves that needle forward, then that 2 hours is what worked. If it's that you have bigger goals and that 2 hours was not enough to reach that goal, then you have to push it a little different. So I think I'm so proud of you for trying this. You did something different today than you've done in the past, right?
Yes.
It makes you feel very uncomfortable and unsure about everything that you're doing, correct?
Well, it's funny because did you see my story about the 21? So Jenna calls me, my daughter, right afterwards. That's my mom. See, you're right there. She tells me, this is what I'm talking about. She goes, I have never seen you do such a good live out of all of your live. Yes. She goes, because you were comfortable and you knew what you were talking about. And I'm like, well, I was a little nervous still, but I did
didn't
it.
come off that way.
But yeah, so I'm really trying to just get out there and do it. And
So what you learned last night, I wasn't on that call, which it sounds like it was absolutely amazing, and I'm bummed that I missed out on it. But it sounds like you took something that somebody shared with you, a leader in the organization shared with you something that works for them.
Mhm.
You tried it, and instant feedback from your daughter, who is super critical, because I'm a daughter and I am super critical of my mother. She came to you and said, good job. Right.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's the hardest part of this business. I could be wrong, but I feel like as an 8-to-5er that's still living the 8-to-5 life, that is the hardest part of this business.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you.
I love that. I love that. I think I've shared this with you before. As soon as I quit my nursing job, became a full-time Beachbody coach, I was not more successful. I wasted a lot more time doing things I didn't need to do. I spent money on things that I didn't need to spend it on. The business activity tracker is, I think I'll save that for another day. But doing those, just connect with more people. If you find yourself with more time, make more friends to invite to what we're talking about right now, of the vision that you can invite to a super weekend. See how many people you can get. Those of you going to Sacramento, see how many people you can get to come with you. They don't have to be coaches, and have them come experience a workout with Autumn. Like, right? That would be amazing. I know that we're over time. I really appreciate you guys being here. I wanted to see Amy and Kendra. I know that we didn't really get to hear from you guys. Is there anything that sticks out to you guys that would be fun to have as a part of a team that you're a part of?
Sorry, I'm on a new iPad situation here.
Okay.
I don't know where the buttons are. I was just, what you guys were saying already, you kind of all said it, but it is hard for me, being here. I'm not in Sonora where I know most of the people there. And that's where I would love to do like walks with people I know, and just have that community feel, or get together for workouts, because that's my thing. I love group workouts and like walk together and activities like that. So I do miss that a lot, and I wish I could do that here, and I know I can. I just have to meet some people.
I might know
and make
someone
some
that
friends.
lives kind of by you, maybe, who might want to work out with you. Maybe. Maybe.
Well, there you go. I can meet them. So that's hard, but that's my thing that I would love. I would love that in the future, to do that just with people, and have that real in-person thing. Because for me, honestly, like, I'm not very good over Zoom. I'm not good virtually, and I feel like in person, I'm a completely different person. And I'm just not myself on the screen. It's really hard for me. So I don't know. That's something that I do need too, is that real in-person connection.
I wrote down Amy and Jess take over North Idaho. So just so you know.
Yes, we need to go meet some ladies on a yoga cruise again.
I know.
When I'm not sick.
Amy, I'm willing to bet that there's been a few people who moved to Idaho in the last year or so and don't have any friends.
There's
Oh,
so
yeah.
many.
Oh, for sure. But it's hard meeting them when they're probably a stay-at-home mom, and so am I. So then you have to meet them who knows where. So it's not easy, but it takes time.
Aim, I'll reach out to you because everyone's gonna laugh at me. I just happened to become a co-organizer and leader of Mamas in Business of North Idaho. I don't know how I fall into these roles. Literally, I fall into them. But all of these moms are business owners with kids. And so at all of the meetings, kids are welcome, because most of them can't find babysitters. And the 90% of them are not from here. So I'll connect you with that too.
Yeah. I would love to join you guys.
Cool. Kendra, did you have anything you wanted to share? Also, no one's met Kendra yet. She's the newest coach on our team. Please give her a warm welcome. She's on the East Coast.
Kind of central.
Central.
In Missouri.
That's right.
I wish I was on a coast, east or west. I wouldn't care, but I mean, I agree with what everybody was saying, and the connection, which if you guys all get together and have in-person things, it'd be a little hard for me to do over here in Southeast Missouri, but I mean, I would just have to try my best to get to some of them. But basically what everybody said, the connection and everything.
Oh. Awesome. Well, you'll be at San Antonio, so that'll be awesome.
Yes, I will be there.
Okay. Cool. Awesome, you guys. Well, I have some follow-up notes that I'm probably going to be reaching out to you about in our team page and then individually. I really do want to create mini task forces, but here's the thing is that I'm going to need you guys to be on one. And I think I've been talking with Sarah and Jamie about this already. So I'm so glad that it came up in this call. But I think it's going to be a game changer for our team and our trip to a top 10 team. So there's that. And if anything else comes up, I'm going to update this little vision board, but please share it in our team page. And I think that the more excitement and vision that we can cast rather than just focusing on the mini tasks, because as many of you have mentioned, every team does it different. There's multiple ways to be successful in this business, and we have to figure out what works best for us and that's going to bring us joy and not burn us out, because we all have stuff. So continue in this brainstorming. And again, share in our team page. I will post this Canva graphic when I'm done with it. But thank you all for being here. I absolutely love seeing your faces and appreciate your time. And I hope you have a great evening with your families. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.